Paul Zigo is a guy on the internet who I've covered like once before. He is basically like a polyp. You know when TJ Kirk did the banana thing? Don't look that up. But TJ Kirk did a thing with a banana once upon a time. And I think it actually got him some sort of weird, insane cross-species pregnant. And then he shit out a lump. And that lump one day became Paul Zigo, who is fundamentally indiscernible from TJ Kirk when he's talking. TJ Kirk, the amazing atheist. Other than, like, sometimes if you focus really hard, Paul Zigo is going to give a way worse take somehow than TJ will. With all due respect to TJ Kirk, his time saying anything at all of value has long since passed, if it had ever been here at all. And I don't want to just fucking dog on fucking TJ.
Creepy DMs.
I'm probably the only person that's gonna be fucking talking about him today, hopefully. But they have a podcast, I guess, called like Onion Nuggets or something. It was Deep Fat Fried. Onion Nuggets is the fucking thing that I'm looking at right now. And I don't know if this is a Clips guy or if it's the guy themselves. Full Onion Nuggets live stream. I don't know. These are the kind of people, they have like 50 fucking properties. You know when you try to look and you're like, oh man, this guy said this thing, and it's the exact same scenes, the exact same setup, the exact same fucking people, but it's not the one podcast. It's like the 15th fucking podcast from that like group of people that looks fucking identical to all of the other ones that they do. It's one of these cases. Oh no, here it comes. Yes. What's up, you? Everybody say hi to YouTube. He complains about Vaush video, and I'm not here to defend Vaush because I don't think he's really worth defending on this, but I want to cover a little bit about what they were talking about because there's a very important aspect of dealing with Vaush, and that is making good criticism of him, which a lot of people do not do. And we're going to hear a little bit about this. I'm not going to watch the whole video because without irony, TJ and Paul, if you're watching this, you guys have like next to nothing of value to say. And that's not me being a condescending lib. That's me being a working class guy who's been listening to TJ for fucking pushing 12 years now, a decade or so plus. And buddy, there's a reason the fucking subs aren't really popping off. And it's just because you're unfunny, you're boring, and you got nothing to say, with all due respect. And Paul is just kind of like you, but without the previous notoriety. So literally nearly no reason to like listen to you and provide counter arguments because most of your arguments are like, but it's dumb because it seems dumb. But we will listen to this anyway. Here we go.
I'll take my apology in the form of come on and do it, if you want.
Onion nuggets.
You heard that voice?
Did you hear that, Fall?
When you're listening to this, now, if I were to find out that fucking TJ Kirk and Paul Zigo is actually just a TJ Kirk side character that he's doing like a puppet off screen, I have nothing but apologies for all the shit I just said because that is a fucking performance art piece that is beyond the ken of mortal man. That is the most fire shit in the world. But basically what really did happen here is it's like when Ben Shapiro hired Brett, whatever her name is, the Femme Shapiro chick that looks exactly like him. Only with like, but like with our Reddit atheist aesthetics instead, and it's just two guys. It's crazy that anybody would find a mirror version of themselves and say, I should start a podcast that's just literally me times two. No straight man, just two chuckle fucks.
It's the Vaush alarm. It's the Vaush accidentally exposed his lolicon alarm, everybody. Ooh, there it is.
Here you go.
Everybody prepare.
Paul Zigo versus Vaush. The battle.
No, you have to watch this. You have to watch this.
Foreseen by the sages. Paul Zigo versus Vaush.
And I wish somebody would make.
I appreciate people using like ugly pictures. I don't know why people try to use ugly pictures of Vaush. I always feel like the least flattering pictures of Vaush are the ones that he likes. Yeah. When he's doing that sort of like clueless, dead-eye non-stare that he's... I always find that to be much more useful. I like it when he's expressive more. I don't know why people always have to go to the butthole mouth thing. I wish... It might just be an ick thing with me. I don't like it when people do the like soy jack butthole mouth. I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to demonstrate it because I don't feel like it being taken at. I will actually delete any pictures like that off of my Discord because I find it unsettling. And I kind of find it a little sexually harassing to have people like there in the no face. Because if you did that you can do it to a guy. It's one of those things you can do it to a guy. But if you had a bunch of pictures of girls doing the like O face thing that he's doing, and you used it a lot, people would think you're weird, right? And I that's the same vibe that I have. I find it to be like a lightly pseudo gross thing. I don't know. I just want to say, can we just all stop using it? I find it visually unappealing, and so I don't want to see it anymore. I don't care. There's plenty of ways to fucking insult a guy. Like literally just any other picture of him with his mouth closed, I find equally unappealing. Just go back to that. But for some reason, we gotta do the goddamn butthole mouth all the time.
Intro happened. That's pretty
I'm sorry, Paul, but I want to unleash my cream on your specs.
Please don't, man. I don't want to.
These are literally 3 versions of the same guy from different timelines.
I can just pretty much take it easy now.
You think so? I mean, I think you should, because if I remember correctly, in the first half of this, they talk about you too.
Not really. Mostly you.
Is it? Okay.
It's pretty Paul
But I'm gonna pause this for just a second.
centric.
All right.
They love them some Paul. All right, here we go.
I saw this on my subreddit. It's the deep fat fried boys going over a video of mine. A Thermia video.
Okay, this
actually.
is not... I don't think this is me. Let me just click HD again. I'll put it to 1080. I think their audio is desynced from their
Thermia,
video.
As always, fronting the very best of my channel. Thank you, Thermia.
Yeah, of course, Vaush.
Leftism is failure.
Vaush.
I remember saying that. That's true.
This is his so his opinion is
Talk.
the only people that
Yeah, Paul, why you so mush mouth?
wow, but you'll defend Joe Biden and say he's got a stutter. You barefaced idiot. I have a little bit of a stutter and you make fun of me, huh? Cool.
Well,
Base ableism, my guy.
you're a YouTuber. Joe Biden's the president of the United States of America, so it's way more important that you need to talk well than him. So
That it's worth your time to politically advocate for are the Hillary Clinton liberals. Is that what
in terms of like trying to get good people elected or trying to stop bad people from getting elected? The only people that are really worth your time are liberals. You can move like the left, the young left vote, and I'm not saying leftists don't vote at all.
oh wait, I'm sorry. I thought that was the Paul here. I didn't. I
Yeah,
didn't realize
that's
it was the
gonna be
Paul.
tough for this. Let me ask you a question. Rather than do what I normally do,
Yeah, unfortunately, obviously, it's a pretty strongly ingrained two-party system. There are some cases where independents can move
How did it get so ingrained? I wonder.
and why does it remain so ingrained? How does that happen?
some ground at local levels.
Dude, I respect if fucking like TJ leaves, but it's like he's still in the room because we have just additional, completely useless commentary.
In terms of like, if you don't want the fascists to win, then yeah, obviously the Democrats are the
Who's
are
the
like-
not, wait a minute, which option is my not fascist option? The guy perpetrating an open air genocide, or the guy that you claim would do it but worse? Which is my non-fascist option, my dude?
and you by which you would
The guy that just said that your First Amendment rights are subverted by the rule of law. That guy? Is that fascist? The one you're talking about? Which is our non-fascist option again, TJ? I don't remember.
Okay, well, let me just think here. Okay, so we have a guy that is clamping down on protests with a draconian police state and materially funding a genocide versus a guy who would probably do that worse if he were in charge.
Okay, so this is gives you a good background on why these guys are talking. Eventually, we'll get into the actual criticisms of Vaush here in a second, although they're starting to start off. They're not just... I don't understand how people can say that whole argument out loud to themselves and not just understand how fucking dumb they sound. Like, oh, so I'm stuck between choosing between one thing and something that is actually considerably worse. And it's like, yeah, and I don't get everything that I want. And like, no. Which one of these choices isn't fascist? I can tell you which one's literally less fascist. What are you talking about? Voting, like, if in an obvious sense, I know if you're outside of the country and you want to moralize about the election, go for it. But I'm talking to people that actually have like a fucking say in the matter, which is Americans only. There is one side of it where people are just like, the guy's like, I just literally glass every inch of it. Why do we even have, I don't even like to try to spell Palestine. Just go ahead and burn it to the ground. Turn it to glass. And then on the other end, we gotta find a way forward. Bibi Netanyahu's kind of a jackass. But American people gotta find a way for it. Like literally one of them is just sleepy Joe Biden, and the other one is like fully awake and fucking Ozempic'd up fucking orange Trump. I mean, I don't know how I was gonna almost call him like Hitler or something, but it's just Trump. It's Donald Trump. I don't need to fucking make up a different version of him and call him a Nazi or anything. He's sufficient in and of himself. Donald Trump wants to suspend the rule of law. It's like literally like he wants it to be the last election. He just says it over and over again. I think that the American system is very broken. Very broken. One of these guys says that they could suspend the rule of law. They could suspend the rule of law or they could suspend the First Amendment because of war. The law of war. They could suspend the First Amendment. Like, dude, yeah, they can. Yes, you're describing the literal system. Well, I don't like the literal system. It's not always good for me. Well, no, it's actually always good for you. You live in a fucking first world country. You're literally a fat guy on the internet. You know how fucking lucky you are to be a fat white guy on the internet? I don't know if I want to choose between fascism and Joe Biden fascism. I don't know which one. Like, dude, you are a fat guy on the internet. This isn't being insulting. You're an overfed white person on the internet. You know how fucking lucky you are? You know how many calories extra you have to get per week to get overweight? And then have a job where you talk into a microphone? You live in splendor. You live the life of a fucking like demigod compared to like the Greeks. You are cast in gold and jewels as far as the rest of the world goes. Your pretense to making decisions based over your own guilt is such a privilege. It's insane. And you're so privileged that you think that like you're making a difference. You're taking a moral stand. I'm taking a moral stand by risking your own lightly barely at risk freedoms to elect a guy who would not treat you worse if he got elected. Like, dude, I'm white. If white supremacists get elected, I'm the last in the line before anything bad happens to me. And it's the same with these two fucking chuckleheads. You know what I'm saying? Like, dude, half of the fucking crew right now is like about wild, crazy shit. Literally suspending democracy because they are convinced that it's all fake and can't be real. And then, yeah, Genocide Joe, if you want to say it, you can. I wish he would do more too, but literally it's American foreign policy to kill Palestinians for like decades now on both sides. Like if you really get down to it, like the better part of half a century or more, that's like our policy is like Israel gets what it wants and the Palestinians get what's coming. That it's American foreign policy. It's not something that Joe Biden came up with in February. He's like, you know what? Hey Jack, what if we just start? You know, October 7th didn't sit right with me. I think we should just go ahead and start killing Palestinians randomly. Is Bibi busy? I know he's already doing it, but maybe we could send him another $5,000 million in missile technology. I was just thinking this is the first time I ever considered it. He was talking about it in the fucking 1970s when he was 40. You know what I mean? Is it good? No, it's a fucking horrible position. Literally one of the worst positions to be in. But you're in the best part of the position. Just get that guy elected and then move the fuck on. You know what I mean? Or have like, but we're going to get into it. There's going to be some political prescriptions in here and some castigations that go fucking nowhere.
I guess, I mean,
Which
by
is not fascist, and which is not fascist.
definitionally, the guy who would do it worse has to be worse. So
Well,
I guess
maybe he's a bigger fascist. But is there you said in terms of not getting a fascist elected, you only really have one choice, my dude. And I'm wondering what that choice is.
It's
vote.
Dude, Jesus Christ. What? This is we're not talking about spoiled. You have no idea. This is a guy that would have worked at a gas station back in the 2000s. Like, once upon a time, before the internet existed, gas station second shift attendant was like the height for some people, right? And they would never really get past it. You might be like it's like, I'm sorry, I did 2 years of community college before dropping out, not getting a degree. And it's like, oh, my apologies. I didn't realize you were a GameStop manager, my dude. Which, you know, if that's your job, that's your job. But, like, understand, I worked my fucking ass off so that I did not have to work in a goddamn gas station. Because I knew that was going to be the case. That's why I joined the military. Because I didn't want to I never wanted to work at a GameStop. I wanted to purchase and sell games there. And I knew that's what would happen to me because it happened to all my other friends. They ended up working at half-priced books and GameStop. And this is the furthest they would get. And if you ever had a fucking job in retail, I worked at a place called Media Play, which is like ridiculous. And so many of the guys that were in their 20s and 30s are basically look and sound exactly like TJ and Paul's ego, where they are just like these self-important word game playing fucking dipshit dweebs that don't actually know what the fuck they're talking about. They have something that they've latched onto emotionally that someone that's smarter than them said, and they're going to repeat that shit ad fucking nauseum again and again and again, never understanding what the fuck they're saying. When I talk about lint roller politics, this is lint roller politics. These fucking motherfuckers have convinced themselves that they're geniuses because they like figured out this scam of evangelical Christianity or something. And so, like, literally, like, I can't not be smart, so I have to understand things when they're presented to me. And so they just lint roll up political concepts, and those little chunks that are there, they just repeat them. They're like, this is politics, right? Fascism is when the government does stuff, but it's bad, right? Fascism is like socialism, but when bad, which is my definition, but it's when government do stuff but bad. Fascism is when guy in charge not do what I want. This fascism, the Joe Biden doesn't do what I want. The Joe Biden is a fascism. The Donald Trump, very funny. The Donald Trump doesn't do what I want. The Donald Trump is a fascism. Fascism bad. Fascism equal fascism. So bad equal bad. Neither good. Please dono. Hit the link. I hope I don't see any donos for this conversation. I can't remember if any pop up or not, but I deeply judge you. Shame if someone donoed to this conversation and this fucking this rigmarole that's about that. Shame on you. Shame.
Blue? No matter no, that can't be it. Vote blue no matter what, no matter who.
It's
God
a
damn it.
argument too. Third parties are just not viable. Why? Because nobody votes for them. Why? Because third parties are not viable. Why? Because nobody votes for them. Why? Because third parties are not viable. Why? Because nobody votes for them. Just like
I want that
contradiction.
I want that in a fucking eternal loop to be one. I want that for 10 hours to be one of our videos.
I mean, but TJ. Come on. I feel like I want to pause and address that too. Third parties aren't viable. Why? Because nobody votes for them. And no one votes for them because it's a fucking popularity contest. There doesn't need to be additional things. If the fucking third party, which is a political party on its own, it is an organization. It has one. Political parties have one fucking job. One job. To get elected. If they don't get elected, there's no reason to continue voting for them because they keep failing. If the political party can't convince people to vote for it, no one's going to vote for the party. If the fucking political party can't fucking get votes, it's going to be considered a failure. And then no one's going to want to vote for it. It is not the people who aren't voting for the party's fault that they're not voting for the party. If you have the free will to vote for anybody or not vote, and one of the fucking options is hilariously worse than fucking blue or red, and you would rather not vote, that's a high indictment of third-party options, which aren't just unviable, by the way, because nobody votes for them. That's a false premise. They're also unviable because they very rarely have any good candidates. You have to not know how the fucking United States civics system in general works, like from the ground up, to think that a third party election at a national level would do anything. I thought that back when I was like 20 and hadn't even gone to college yet and was drunk all the fucking time and had recently gotten hit in the head so hard that I started losing memories. I too thought that it was why don't we all just vote for a different party that'll do whatever we want? Because first off, there is no party that does whatever you want. It's a democracy. It's literally not fascism. So you have to cooperate with people. You have to compromise, not just on issues, but on your literal morals, which is why moral frameworking is bad when it comes to trying to make callous policy-related decisions, because you'll get hung up on the fact that you have to do one bad thing that you could never compromise on in order to do 6. And the person that's willing to do that is going to take the reins and run your fucking life anyway. So you just always re-arrive at the same point. But at the national level, third parties don't exist. If you notice that when it says like, hey, Dems here, reps here, this and that, and it's not in the fucking, it's not, like the fucking president, it's the entire Senate and it's the entire fucking House minus a few fucking swing votes and stuff. That's because all of those people are working together and you're part of that gigantic voting block. Why? Because at the fucking base level, everybody knows that socialism's better and forming little sub-societies and organizing is a better way to get ahead than being an individualist, self-obsessed asshole who moralizes instead of reaching out, shaking hands, and trying to accomplish one thing for themselves instead of nothing for everybody. Absolute fucking morons. It drives me insane to hear this stuff because it is based on no knowledge. I know that they're convincing 12-year-olds is literally the issue with me. Is that 12-year-olds and probably people that are in their mid-30s to early 40s who drink all the fucking time and have eyeballs that are basically full of fucking liquor are the only types of people that'll listen to these fucking idiots. There's a handful of others maybe that, I don't know, you enjoy Paul's beard, but literally you have to not know how politics work to think that a third-party national presidential candidate will accomplish anything. Because the second, I don't know if you notice, there's checks and balances. Oh, but the courts, but the what? Shut up. There's checks and balances. If the fucking president of the United States, it doesn't matter if he's a third party or not, if he wants to do something and he can't convince the Senate and the House to do it or support it in some way, then he doesn't really get to do it a lot of the times, or he has to do a much diminished version of it. When it comes to stuff that's literal national policy, it's out of the fucking president's hand. The funding bills that give money to Israel are in the fucking House and the Senate. The money that goes to Israel to fucking buy bombs, Biden doesn't hop in a fucking Cessna every day and fly another goddamn cruise missile to Israel. Hundreds of representatives and senators from across this great nation of ours meet in a place called the fucking Capitol and vote on these things for years in advance. Years in advance. But I've got to hear people talking about, we're going to throw away the election where the one guy wants to get into power and use the fucking one power he can use to usurp fucking democracy. All you have to do is not let him do that, and we can kick the can down the road on fascist de-evolution of our entire government and start focusing on local elections and shit that matters. But you can't get across to these guys because they're so fucking self-obsessed. They cannot see the president outside of the framework of, if I was king, I would do the good thing. but I am not the king. But someone who is like me could be the king, and we could get him to do the good thing. With literally, you will never hear a fucking prescription of what specifically Biden could do that would not cause lasting damage in some other way. Like, and it's so. Well, I don't know if you heard this, but Ronald Reagan called him up back in 1983 or some shit, and he said, "Oh, you cut. Hey there, Ariel Sharon or whoever the fuck. Well, you cut it out." You know, which people have been talking about happened like it happened overnight, and then Israel just like hung up the bombs. But apparently, the fucking war at the time still went on for another 6 years or 6 months or something, and really never ended anyway. It just keeps. It's still going. We could have done what fucking Ronald Reagan did. Like, well, did it fucking work? Because we're still here. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot more effort than pissing and moaning to get shit done. And you could be working in a way that would actually accomplish anything. But you're talking about Vaush, talking about President Biden and third-party candidates. Pointless. It's pointless. And it's just stupid. And it's like, well, Tyler, if it's so stupid and pointless, why are you talking to them? Because they're doing the stupid, pointless thing. Me pointing out that it's stupid and pointless has a point. I'm telling you not to do the pointless thing anymore and be productive with your life. I found a guy who's like, I can't find a job. Oh, why not? Well, every day I go out and I sit on the sidewalk and I pick my ass. Well, why the fuck would you do that? I don't know. Thought I could get a job doing that. Why? That's stupid and pointless. You'll never get a job doing that. Cut that out. Well, if it's so stupid and pointless, why are you talking to me about it? Because you should stop fucking doing it. Because it's stupid and pointless. Fucking idiot. God damn.
Get on it. Crafty Andy, if you're here.
What is the charitable interpretation of this take?
I honestly...
Because you know what
no
my instinct is.
I just paused for myself, like,
I know.
oh, TJ's trying to talk. Hold on.
We're doing reactception right now, and this is never a good look. I wish Vaush would just talk about how he feels about what I said and not, not do the 3 layers deep and force us to go forward if I want to respond to what he says about me, but whatever. I guess that's the new way.
I want it 100 layers deep. I want it so fucking confusing.
Dude, how about this? I'll respond to Paul Zigo. That's this entire segment revealed, by the way. Paul Zigo's not in it. He doesn't give a shit about politics. Paul Zigo's got a clout position, baby. Paul Zigo's got a clout position. Paul Zigo found it. Vaush big. Vaush big, Vaush bad. Vaush big, you say Vaush bad. Then you get some Vaush tension. All right? I need that Vaush tension. I need them Vaushites looking at my videos because even a bad view gets that AdSense, baby. So he's literally like, I'm not even in this to talk about the issues, which I am. I'm going to get to Paul's ego. I got time. I got an hour and 15 at least. I'm going to get to Paul's ego, talk it even more and more. But let's just point it this way. This is pure clout shit. Pure fucking clout. I don't know why he's explaining the issues and what the hell's going on at hand. Why isn't he just talking about me? First off, because no one knows who the fuck you are except for me.
If he responds to this response, it will be 100 layers deep.
Oh, shit. That's too many layers, bro.
Is to immediately go like, well, that vindicates me.
How can you watch
because I'm on
something live at 1 speed? This is at 1.25 right now, just because this is faster. I couldn't hear it.
3 years ago saying, I feel like Vaush is like pipelining radical leftists into liberalism. And I feel like he just kind of did that, right?
Paul, follow your instincts.
There is a difference between doing things that feel left-leaning and being effective as a left-leaning person. Going and joining up with your most radical local communist political advocacy group and doing a bunch of meetings where you talk about like solidarity and such, like that may feel really good, but there's no guarantee that doing that and committing yourself to that is going to lead to better outcomes.
But wait, there is a guarantee that genocide will stop if you just elect Joe Biden, right? Give me a fucking break, bro. What are you even talking about? Where do you think people get together to do a protest event or whatever? They get together in the types of organizations that you spend the video 2 layers back that we're responding to. I don't know how to talk about it at this point. You're responding to yourself, your own plot, idiot. You were saying that going and joining the DSA was a waste of people's times, and really what they ought to do is funnel all their time and energy into supporting liberals because they're the only ones that get anything done. By the way, if I just did that in a different accent, I think people need to stop pouring money into all these radical leftist organizations that never get anything done and support your local liberal. How are you? You're just like bargain basement Bill Maher at this point, my dude.
if you want to change anything, you have to do so within like viable channels of power. And the only
Got to change the system from within.
Yeah, dude.
Where have I heard that shit before?
Hello, AITJ 2.0 here. I have taken over your free will. You will subscribe.
Become a pessimist productions.
Hey, patron. You will enjoy.
Your parents paid for a whole ass 3,300 Twitter on a level that I don't even think TJ could rival. You're on there 24/7, 365 with your bullshit. So don't give me this Twitter lefties. There's a difference between Twitter lefties and me. You know what the difference is? Right now, Twitter lefties are by and large supporting the pro-Palestinian protesters on these campuses. And I bet you'd agree with that, but whatever. Because those Twitter lefties don't support your confirmation bias on another issue. They're all just stupid douchebags that aren't worth listening to. Right, my guy? Right, my guy? Damn, dude, you've been trained so well by the 24-hour news media. I feel bad for your generation, Cal Poly. I feel bad for you, bro. Your parents paid for a whole ass $300,000 a semester education for you, and you didn't take media literacy 101. You didn't learn about how the media...
Dude, that's crazy. I've gotten critical super chats, but I feel like most of these guys' super chats are probably people being critical of them. Can either of you point to a single time in American history when the political system isn't dominated by the two parties or their predecessors? I think the biggest, if I remember correctly, there was a moment when the Democratic Republican Party split into the Democratic Party, the Republican Party, and the former opposition party, the Federalists. There was actually a bit of a three-way, if I remember correctly. It might not have been the Federalists, it might have been the Whigs. But basically, the Democratic Republican Party was the precursor party to the Dems and the Reps, and that split. And the Federalists and Whigs basically were absorbed into both of them, although I think generally the Whig party, WHIG, stayed around for a while. This is all political history stuff, but if I had to remember, and I'm probably a little bit wrong, someone that actually is really pro-grade in 1800s, early 1800s American history would probably remember this better than me. But basically there's one time really in American history where we had a third party, but it was really not a third party. It was a former one of the two parties, and the other party split and started eating everything.
The mass media manufactures consent in times of war. You're such a easily led little douchebag, and unfortunately, you're like a Pied Piper because people think you're attractive or whatever and well-spoken, and so you got a bunch of young people who don't know any better than just follow the most attractive guy on the block.
Bull Moose Party? I was one too.
And you're leading them right down the pipeline that led to the shit show in Israel, because nobody ever gets elected that'll do it. Why? Because nobody votes for him, my dude. Why? Because they're ineffectual. Why? Because nobody votes for him, my dude.
Well, here's the thing. The other thing is a circular definition, which I guess he's trying to connect. There's a clear part where you can change that, because them being ineffectual could change, right? Have you guys ever heard the third party fucking stuff? It is all just like a bunch of glad handing and then no ability. You know, I'm not gonna get stuck on it.
Why? Because they're ineffectual. Why? Because nobody votes for him, my dude. Why? Because they're ineffectual. At what point are you gonna get the net, bitch?
Can either of you point to a single time in American history when the political system isn't dominated by the two parties or their predecessors? No.
He's not attractive. Don't give him that. I don't know, dude. I'm not into real mask type guys or whatever.
$50. God damn.
Like him, but I'm not gonna lie and tell you I think he's an
shame.
Guy. He's definitely gone through a glow
shame.
Up. Side shaved keloid.
Shame.
That Vaush has been replaced by like a kind of gay guy lounged around in an expensive hotel Vaush, which is it's an upgrade, right?
Just finished working day 6 of Jazz Fest. Can't wait for that Blu-ray. Cheers. Thank you. Appreciate you.
So I think I can kind of terminate here. This is perfect. This is a perfect example of what I'm talking about with a lot of people that try to give criticism to Vaush. And why you got to shut up. Stop criticizing Vaush if you don't criticize him on terms that like make fucking any sense at all. First off, Paul's ego and TJ Kirk's positions are just fucking wrong. But also, this is a part of a bigger problem. Vaush deserves a lot of criticism, a shitload of criticism, which I intend to continue giving until, I don't know, it stops being profitable for me or he changes, because there's literally no reason for me not to criticize Vaush. Gets a good fucking income. I believe literally everything that I'm saying, and I want him to not behave the way that he does. So it's a fucking win-win-win for me, like all the way. This kind of criticism right here that these guys are delivering is dog shit. Dog shit. First off, it's homophobic. I don't know why you're doing that way. It might just be that like Paul's ego is, and I'll give him credit in this direction, crushingly fucking unfunny. Crushingly fucking unfunny. Deep into hack court. Hackety hack. Same premise brought up again and again and again. No ability to modulate his speed. No ability to modulate his tone. No understanding of the fucking subject matter at hand. No way to fucking like draw stuff. It is literally, here's how you know. If the best that you can do comedy-wise the entire time is just say what someone else is saying in a dumb voice, you are a fucking hack. That's all I can say. Without understanding, I try when I try to do an impersonation of someone, I try to get them as accurate as possible, and I try to have like some respect for their character and like where they're coming from. But like he's just like, oh, he's just gay, gay lounge Vaush. Blah. I don't understand why you think that's gonna fucking land. I mean, I guess I do, because you got $50 fucking dollars in donos for that. You probably directly connecting your bad comedy with whatever the jazz festival thing that guy was talking about was. But here's the thing: this shit only reinforces Vaush's behavior. It really does, and it provides him that like you exist. You don't even realize this, or maybe you do, and you're actually kind of smart. Guys like you only exist in Vaush's periphery because you're a non-threat. Like, never forget that about yourself, Paul, if you end up watching this. And I don't think anybody else covers you except for fucking Vaush and me. So more than likely, welcome to VOD Gang, buddy. You're a non-threat. You're stupid. You don't make good points. You don't research what you're saying. You just go off this vitriolic, emotional shit that's in your but you don't even deliver that funny enough. You're not fucking funny. So it just doesn't fucking hit. I mean, if it does for your audience, that's fine. But ultimately, you're a fucking tool, like a literal tool. Because Vaush can bring up guys like you. You sound like a fucking moron. And you repeat all of the dumb fucking insults that his community hears about him all the time, which he uses to reinforce that VDS layer of protection he has around himself that prevents him from actually being affected by real criticism. So just like without reservation, shut the fuck up about politics. I don't know how to add anything to that, but like stop doing what you're doing and acting like a fucking tool so that people who unironically deserve to be taken down several pegs, who need to, for the benefit of lefties in general, be taken down a few pegs, stop providing them the tools with which to obfuscate criticism of themselves just because you got to pay your bills or whatever, so you're going to do piss pants takes online and clout hunt. Shut the fuck up. Please. I'm asking you like a personal favor. Like, please shut the fuck up. Please just stop talking about shit that is out of your pay grade and like stick to making fun of people that would just be getting made fun of. Like talk about Ben Shapiro and shit like that, because real motherfuckers are trying to work on stuff over here. I guess that's it. Show me some professional consideration and stay in your lane like the fucking pony boy you are, and like know your place in political conversations, and stop sharing your thoughts publicly. I'm getting a little bit fucking ridiculous here. I'm sure with the undeserved condescension for someone, you can't talk about the way that someone looks and then be palsy. Like you look like a laid off computer programmer, but like then you find out like you didn't even work at the computer programming suite. You know what I mean? Like you're cosplaying as Gary Gygax, which is rough. And then you're like calling out Vaush, who apparently some people think is fucking hot. You can't call it out his appearance if you don't look as good as he does. Like a crab calling your way out of the bucket. It's just fucking ridiculous. Cut it out, man. It's too much. Just cut it out. Stop. And this kind of goes for other people too. Try to minimize the insane amounts of like baseless personal insults, especially ones that don't have anything to fucking do with the topic at hand. Like if I want to insult somebody's intelligence and shit, but we're talking about stuff that you need intelligence to do, that's fine. Like if you're being so dumb that you're giving bad takes, live with that, right? But like this having to reach outside of the world that we're discussing shit in to talk about stuff like his beach, what his vibe, he's dressed nice now. It's just such a fucking reach. And it doesn't track for normal people that are like watching this stuff. Because I don't know how much you make, but you're hanging out with TJ. And TJ's been an internet dork for forever. Like, we're all internet dorks. If I make $100,000 and Vaush makes $1.5 million at the end of, well, not this year, but like fucking maybe, I don't know, 4 years down the line for me. But, you know, we're still assholes on the internet that are making money in the same way. No one's going to make that much of a differentiation between it. We're not like working class blue collar scrubs. You're not part of the fucking struggle anymore, man. You're hanging out with TJ Kirk, even if you do still have a day job. You look like you're on the same screen with the other people that are associated with having soft hands, brother. You know what I mean? Even I gotta fucking take a step back from that. So like, try to keep that whole fucking subsection like off, out of the way. I don't like the way Tyler called me out for thinking Vaush is hot, uncool. Also, Vaush on the outside isn't unattractive. He just not my type. I have a thing for people's voices too. I think that's something. I gotta tell you guys about that later. Yeah, I find Vaush's voice to be profoundly fucking irritating. I think I can hear his personal faults in the way that he just forms words, so it just gets me. Vaush takes care of himself. He's not my type, but he definitely takes care of himself. It's true. Vaush has some definitive awful takes and stuff, but this isn't the hill they should want to die on. That's kind of like really the case. You don't have to debate everything. You can have a conversation. Remember, left to right, people predominantly have more in common than not. If you can get through the BS, which is also true. Like, I'd still talk shit to these guys. But like, you know, if you got to return the energy. So if I'm not going to be nicer ever than somebody who's being like a fucking, you know, self-aggrandizing, moralizing prick on the internet. I'm like, if I see someone down in the mud, I want to go down in the mud and mud wrestle too. Like, I'm not above that. But the thing is these just these tacks just don't work. It's really what I wanted to get after. I don't think I really need to add too much, because I found myself wondering what else to say, and it's because even after whatever 10 minutes or so, it's not like these guys have a lot to listen to. If you guys hear me listen to people that have something to say, I stop talking because it's interesting. They just have a lot to say. His entire argument is literally just like, I find it ridiculous that people won't vote for third parties because they're not viable. And the only reason they're not viable is because people don't vote for them, and that makes me upset, which is actually him creating the logic loop, because he's pretending there's only one reason that people don't vote for the third parties.
For any kind of left of center.
Someone said I should go to his political
It doesn't mean
violence
the only
section.
mechanism by
Extreme pragmatism, hypocritical moment, Vaush true colors. I'll put this on so I can listen to it for a second.
him, and it seems like he's going to spend a lot of his life reliving it by going over stream clips.
The only thing,
That's what you're doing.
whatever,
Right
what are
now.
you doing, bitch?
That's what you're doing right now.
Your butt got rubbed a little raw the last time we got together too, if I might remember. And what are you doing? You're reliving the goddamn moment too, bitch. Go f yourself. You fucking hypocrite. You're just a standing refutation of everything you profess to believe.
Can I just say, Paul's ego says the word bitch like he's about to be slapped by somebody on the other side of like thousands of miles of distance in a computer screen. I have never heard somebody less. You should never say that word again. It's a bad word to use. To quote, what is that? Lupe Fiasco, bitch bad. But goddamn, it's the delivery on that. It's just a wormy way to say bitch. It's, you know what it is? It's the Key and Peele skit. The Key and Peele skit, where I said, "What are you talking about?" Nothing. You say bitch like fucking Vaush is about to walk in the room with you and slap you for saying it. I can't get over that.
Boy, a coddled, stuck up and rich boy that never had to work for a goddamn thing in your life, including the audience that Destiny, for some god awful unknown reason.
This just sounds like malding. This is the other thing too. Like, I also agree that Vaush doesn't have much of a working class background. He should be quiet about working class issues. I say that because I've fucking worked in my life. Oh my God. And you know, I suffer permanent injuries, work-related injuries because of it. And that's a thing, but it's not the entirety of it. But also, I see where the gaps are. That's the point. Is I point out like where the spoiled brat part of him shines. That's what you need to do. And it's not just the fact that he's successful, because when you say that, it kind of insinuates that only rich people get successful anyway. You know what I mean? Which actually might be one of his, might be one of the way that he copes with his own lack of success or something. But this all just reads like I'm jealous. And if I had all of the opportunities, like I would succeed.
I wish that would have had the foresight to flush you down the toilet when you were caught sending cringy, rapey DMs to a bunch of people in his community back in the day. I wish you would have had the foresight to sever ties with you so that you could go down the skibbity toilet where your dumb simp ass belongs. But
I told you they have an extremely young audience. Didn't I say skibbity toilet reference? I still don't fucking understand that. I just know the Zoomers all know what it is.
Fortunately, Destiny deigned to give us the goddamn abortion that is Vaush, a guy that dresses in a $800 sweater and shows up and doesn't even have the temerity to do what the other $800 sweater lefty guy Hassan does and actually be based. You want to tell me that the based position is for us to line up and support the vampire corporatist?
Hey, Killjoy, what section is it? I want to hear it. Do any of you remember the bitch is a slur discourse? I do not at all. Vaush tries to artificially lower his voice. I don't think it's artificial. I think he actually talks like that. I think he thinks that because you would have heard him through it. So people just teach themselves to talk with a slightly lower tone. I think that might just be how people from where he lives sound, because that sounds like the kind of thing. I think he just does that. I think he maybe, to a degree also, I do believe he affects like a sort of bookishness that sounds fake, but I don't know. It's been 3 hours. I'm still pissed about the Vaush alcohol versus weed takes. It's true. They were bad. They were bad. Oh, so you don't know where it is, Killjoy. Skibbity toilet, dude. No way. I still don't understand that shit. I don't really care to either. It just looks like I might have actually seen Skibbity toilet. I have no idea. It just looks like Gmod joke, and I guess Gmod YouTube poops have been out of favor for so long that the Zoomers saw one and they were like, "This is my life now."
Or weapons on Palestine, just my fascist apologia runneth over.
Oh, he's just been talking the same time. They're worse than me, man. Look at this. That he gets a little talk and then he's just the same. You can see Vaush's head not moving and then they just turn him off. That's awesome. Oh, he admits to it. He says he does voice training to lower his voice. He stated in the past he did vocal training. That might be where his asshole tone comes from. I couldn't imagine practicing to sound like Vaush. That's fucking horrible. Hey. Evelina Kyle, Skibbity toilet is just Zoomer Gmod idiot box. Don't know if that helps. I don't know what idiot box is either, but I stay away from the Gmod shit. It's so unsettling to me, and it looks like shit that I usually don't fuck with it, but Tyler doesn't understand the Skibbity toilet lore, nor will I.
Moron and a fascist apologist. Based on what? Based on what?
How old was he on 9/11?
21.
Oh, I guess he's moving down here, that's why.
21 years old.
When he stopped growing. Maybe he was like a juvenile.
What?
Just as an insult, but fascism apologia. There's a limit on this.
Hold on.
Functionally, this is pro-fascist behavior. This is this level of downplaying the threat of fascism goes beyond merely just being a moron, which Paul's ego is, to be fair, and extends further into the realm of fascism apologia. There's a limit to how delusional you can be. I thought you were calling him a child just as an insult, but genuinely the dude seems to have an immature brain. How old was he on 9/11?
21 years old.
Jesus fucking Christ. What? God damn, I was fucking 13. I guess it's not that big of a difference now that I'm getting older, but like 8 years older than me. So he's what, 36 plus 8? Oh fuck, hold on. I'm fucking taxing the old noodle here. He's 44. God damn. I bet Tyler doesn't know that the Skibbity toilet storyline happens canonically before 9/11. Is the whole Skibbity toilet thing saying that people don't know about it and then making stuff up? It is a YouTube poo? I mean, absolutely. Shouldn't have a timestamp. I thought you just had one.
when he stopped growing.
Don't
Maybe
you know
he was,
Banana
like,
Phone?
a
Yes.
juvenile back then.
I
and
just
his
told you I
brain
was
said that
13 in
was, like, a juvenile
2001.
brain that it got locked into.
I was 21.
Like 65. Okay, he got locked in at the juvenile age of 65 years old in 9/11. I don't know.
Look, and Vaush, I don't know.
I was, yeah, 9/11 happened literally just before I turned like 14. Because my birthday is September 17th, so it was like 6 days. 6 days before my birthday.
I don't know either, man.
I don't know where that point was going either, my dude. But I'm glad Thermia left it in and didn't edit that one out because that definitely added a lot of spice.
Fascist
No, I was not a
apology.
juvenile on 9/11. You were a sperm in your daddy's balls on 9/11. I was 21 and paying taxes. And
So, fascist apologia, Paul, is that your bag now?
yeah, you can hear it all night tonight. I haven't stopped raving about Joe Biden dumping more weapons on Palestine. You know, just my fascist apologia runneth over. You know,
Defense. I mean, Trump could.
what a smear tactic. What a shitty fucking smear tactic. You're a moron and a fascist apologist. Based on what?
Okay, so the point that Vaush is trying to make badly, and this is why Vaush needs to be decreased in importance on the fucking left because he's a fucking idiot, Jesus Christ, is that technically speaking, through second party action, basically, Paul's ego's type of rhetoric is supporting fascism because it's enabling it through inaction. Basically, it's like the Spider-Man argument for the Spider-Man argument for fascism. Fun fact, the boys comics revealed the heroes were the ones who did 9/11. And if there's ever anything bad happens in the boys comics, it was because the superheroes secretly did it. That's the point. I don't understand how you don't know that's what he means. You need to make answers to that. That's the other thing. Like, this is why you sound like a fucking idiot, because you do sound like a fucking idiot. That's a problem. You sound stupid. Because just figure out his argument and then respond to it. Just say like, no, I don't know how you would do it. I guess you can't, because you would be enabling fascism by helping the fascists get elected. But you're just trying to pretend that Joe Biden is for some reason like a fascist when he clearly is not. It's just like he just does not in any way, shape, or form resemble an actual fascist. It's just if the government does something that I'm upset about is bad. I'm unable to see the difference between Democrats and Republicans at this stage is psychotic. You have to be actively ignoring the things that are happening literally before the eyes of all of the people on Earth who can observe this shit. On one side of the aisle, we have people who will assault women in bathrooms, transgender or not, because they think the person's a man. There's people literally doing violence. They tried to overthrow the Capitol. They want all of the same bad results that you will get by voting for Biden, and they want them all worse. There is literally no reason to provide any material support to the other side, and we can ignore that whole side for a while if we elect the one that we're already dealing with, and then we can continue dealing with just the problems we already have. Whereas when the other side gets elected, they do insane shit like stack the courts. They fucking dismantle regulatory commissions and agencies. They end up causing mass pandemics and plagues through inaction and their inability to do stuff. Like, you have to be a child, a little baby. Like, I understand saying like, hey, you were still a sperm in your dad's balls in 2001, but like, my dude, I don't feel like you fucking aged a day since the 1980s. Like, you sound like a spoiled, disaffected little fucking Gen Xer. This is actually, you're being a Gen Xer makes sense, because this is always the Gen Xer fucking standpoint. You guys are fucking poisoned for this shit. And it drives me fucking insane about their generation, is that Gen X is the disaffected, too cool for school. I'm not going to vote in the election because the elections are for losers. Politics are lame. That's what all of Gen X political theorizing in the 80s and 90s sounded like. And then 9/11 happened, and a lot of Gen Xers basically woke the fuck up. And not all of them were like that, but that was the Gen X vibe. If you watch the material that they made back then, the art and stuff that they crafted, it was about being disaffected and unconcerned, and basically being an upset, spoiled person living in suburbia and like not really seeing issues outside of yourself. That is the whole like Gen X political narrative that, thank God, a lot of them have fucking have just completely abandoned at this point. But if you want to see it classically represented, it's him. He says he's anti-fascist, but like literally fascism to him is nothing other than just any bad result caused by direct government action. That is fascism. That's it. Which means that there's no way to fight it, because literally, as you are experiencing when he talks, every single possible thing that you can do where there is a bad result is fascism. So he's literally so blinded by his own idiotic political understanding of the world, his bad politics. He's so fucking blinded by it. He cannot discern the difference between the Democratic Party and the Republican Party. He sees no difference, which is literally stupid as fuck. It is insanity. It's just absurd, because they are clearly fucking different on so many issues. You can look them up. There's significant differences between the parties. Every time one of the parties is in power significantly in the country, it doesn't maybe necessarily equate all of the ends that you want, but you can literally watch the economy fucking crash in real time the second fucking Republicans get elected, because they do all of the worst fucking economic policies that have ever fucking existed. You can watch pollution rise. You can see accidents increase. And you can see the passing of laws into effect and the repealing of laws that cause knock-on effects down the line. We're still seeing death and destruction from Reagan-era policies. Reagan-era fucking deregulation of fucking railways and the destruction of the fucking union protections back then are the reason we were having fucking serious train crashes and shit a couple years ago. That whole thing. The infrastructure bill that Joe Biden passed is alleviating a lot of that, because we're finally fixing all the bridges and shit. But we already have that. And because you're a spoiled, fat, internet white boy, you think that you deserve more. You deserve more. You're not talking about Palestinian kids. Don't moralize to me. You're not talking about Palestinian kids. You're talking about what you want. You have an expectation of what you want from the government. And if it's not acquiesced to, if they don't give you that, you're going to sit here and you're not going to do anything. I'm going to sit on my little seat and I'm not voting until I get what I want. That's you. That's you. You're a fucking 3-year-old. A spoiled, fat, pampered 3-year-old complaining about fucking Vaush being up in his ivory tower while you're in what? A tower of shit that's no less fucking high, looking down at people and be like, I'll help in just a second. I'm trying to find the true difference between Republicans and Democrats. I don't see one. Meanwhile, almost every fucking minority that's not like on Twitter, who the fuck even knows if they're actually the fucking minority that they say they are? It's just anonymous internet people. They're like, please, for the love of fucking God, don't elect the goddamn Republicans again, because Donald Trump kicked trans people out of the fucking military. You fucking remember that? He just kicked. What you talking about? I don't know if either of them are particularly good on trans protection, but Donald Trump kicked trans people unceremoniously out of the fucking military. He just did that. He has shit on veterans and stuff, so you don't know, fuck veteran affairs. Like, yeah, fucking Biden hasn't undone all of the issues. He's fucked up on a lot of things. But the thing is Donald Trump does shit. He is a progressive candidate for his type of fucking shit he wants to see happen. He's very active. He stacked the courts. We lost Roe v. Wade because Donald Trump was elected. Do we think he's done? Well, you can't remove abortion protections anymore. That would be impossible. Like, dude, they're trying to get rid of the fucking pill. They're trying to fuck abortion protections. They're trying to get rid of fucking birth control. They're saying it. They're saying it. And you're so fucking up your own spoiled ass, up your own fucking ass, that you cannot see past a fucking Twitter screen to try to do the right thing for people that are around you. Because literally, if nothing you do will change anything in fucking Palestine, because literally none of the two choices that are provided do anything. Third party vote, nothing. Blue vote, nothing. Red vote, less than nothing, actually makes it worse. Then you're a fucking idiot for not voting for the thing that doesn't make it worse. Like, None of those things are going to change the bad thing. You got to focus on the things that can actually happen, which is like a loss of rights for people. Like people are losing rights. Donald Trump and his party want to increase mandatory minimums for drug sentences all the fucking time. All the fucking time. They are constantly the hard-on crime candidates, way worse than any Dems can ever fucking be. They want death penalties for fucking abortion. They want that. They will get it if you keep fucking letting them get elected by, I'm going to sit here on my stool and I'm not going to participate at all. This is not making me comfortable. Like, bro, you are on the fucking internet talking. I am too. Yeah. We're all fucking hypocrites here, but like, Jesus fucking Christ, man. God damn. Biden passed the PACT Act despite Republican opposition. I don't even want to try to appeal to this guy through veterans issues, because more than likely, I would not be surprised if he's a fucking butthurt about the Iraq war and he didn't fucking participate in it. He's just upset that it happened and he's mad at George Bush. I'm mad at George W. Bush. Like, who gives a fuck? A guy that won't vote, that votes for third parties, who gives a shit what his opinions are, honestly? Because you don't want to fucking see them happen in the real world. You won't do the one thing that can make any of the desires that you have occur. So you're not going to do anything. I'm going to sit on my little stool. Absolutely fucking absurd. You know, sometimes I wonder how the U.S. would turn out if Reagan never happened. Shining city on the hill and all that. There's no telling. Have somebody do all of the research for that. Reagan's still technically before my time. Trump's trans policy was the most expensive military policy in his presidency because it forced out trained individuals, turning the education investment into a burn pit. Also, removing the Roe v. Wade has caused more emergency PCSs than any other policy because they have to move whole families to help women. It's fucking insane. It just caused these guys have major internet brain rot. It's insane. I could not imagine. I am disgusted by their fans. Like that's what it really comes to. I know I talked a lot of shit to you guys, but like, fuck your whole fan base is really the thing. And if you guys want to be pissed at me, go ahead. But like, your fan base paying for you to say this stupid shit is actually more irritating, because you could just be stupid. But I feel like you should be stupid and poor if talking and saying the right thing is how you make your money. You should be fucking impoverished over this shit because your opinions are impoverished. Why should not your pocketbook fucking also look like that? Absurd. So yeah, if you're a fucking TJ Kirk, Paul's Ego viewer and you're into this shit, like, literally go fuck yourself. Fuck you for giving them money. Are you out of your mind? Are you fucking stupid? Why are you supporting this idiocy? They come and debate me on it. I'm around. I'll fight you. Is it what you're doing it for clout? Sure, whatever. It's a win-win for me because there's no way you're gonna fucking beat me in a debate. God, could you imagine these two fucks? I got more charisma and funny in my fucking pinky finger. I am fucking hotter on a goddamn debate stage after fucking 10 hours of streaming than these dudes are at their prime. God damn. Challenge is open if you ever want to fucking talk. I really could give a shit less if you do. I'll come on and fucking smoke them sausages. Either way, like, it's so stupid. I was gonna talk about just fucking how bad his criticisms are, but like, I don't even care about that as much as I do about how fucking stupid his whole point was. It's impossible to get past. It really is.